You know Judge Jeanine Pirro as the host of Justice with Judge Jeanine on Fox News Channel. Previously, she hosted Judge Jeanine Pirro, a syndicated court show for which she won an Emmy in 1990. She was the first woman elected to sit on the Westchester County court bench. And in 1993, she again made history as the first woman elected district attorney in Westchester County, New York. She's author of 2 New York Times bestsellers, and her latest, Don't Lie to Me and Stop Trying to Steal Our Freedom, is now available everywhere books are sold. Welcome back, Judge Jeanine. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks so much for having me on. I love the name of your show.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, first of all, I just want to address something with you, talking about Westchester County. Okay. It seems everyone is moving from New York City to Westchester County right now. You tweeted about Bill de Blasio, who is now shutting down New York City again. And you say that it's to scare New Yorkers from working, going to school, and to continue the gloom and doom of the DNC. You think that's their game plan?
Well, I can't imagine what else it is. I mean, what we do know is that, the locking everyone in a basement was pretty much a reason for the continuing spread of the virus. And it's really the hypocrisy and the lies. I mean, I can't believe now that they want to start locking down New York by zip code now. And the problem is that when people were protesting in the thousands for Black Lives Matter, with the movement, which is great, I have no problem, but the organization in the thousands, no mask, they were saying, have at it. This is your moment in history. Go out there, make a difference. But you people who want to work, don't you dare go to work. You want to go to church? You can't go to church. Don't you dare go to a funeral. And, it's just this incredible hypocrisy where they're trying to scare us. And now this last minute vote by mail, because all of a sudden people can't go to the polls. Well, people have been going to Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, since the pandemic. I mean, you just keep social distancing, you wear a mask, people know what to do. But in the end, I think the attempt by the left to keep us in our basements, to open the border, and then to defund the police, so again, we don't feel safe, and take away our guns is like the trifecta for them. They want to keep us down and bring in the Trojan horse, who's Joe Biden, and behind him are the Marxist, socialist, police-hating, gun-hating, American-hating. If you look at any of these protests, I mean, they protest with impunity. I mean, they can tear down a business and loot it on Main Street, on Fifth Avenue in New York, and police are not deployed in Democrat cities. The crime is going up. This isn't the America the Americans want.
Judge Jeanine, in your book, you discuss so many different things: the impeachment inquiry, the military, the road to 2020. And we are just less than a month now away from 2020. And we're seeing reports everywhere that the vote ballots that are being mailed out, for example, in Los Angeles alone, basically people are getting ballots. My mother, who lives in Los Angeles County, has gotten multiple ballots from people that lived in that home for the past 50 years. She's been there for 10. And we're seeing this across the country. How concerned are you about the legitimacy of the vote?
I am so concerned. I must tell you, every American needs to be concerned, because every vote needs to count, and that vote needs to count in the pale of votes that are legitimate. And, this last minute mail-in voting where people are getting ballots in the names of their dogs, people are getting ballots in the names of dead people, which is, Obama was not purging the voter registration rolls. You remember that. And he had to be sued in some states to do that. And then when President Trump came in, he assigned, I believe it was Chris Kobach, and they were going to clean all the dead people out of the voter registration list. And the secretaries of state who were Democrats refused to give them the list, thinking that they're simply trying to, get information on everyone. Some crazy reason. And so dead people will be voting. Illegal people who are not citizens will be voting. Fraudsters will be voting. People will steal your identity and vote in your name. We'll have motor voter registration. They'll go vote and register to vote at the same time. This is teed up for disaster. And the worst part is that there are judges in this country who are saying you don't have to count the votes or the ballots in your state until a week after the election. What do you think is going to go on from election night to a week after the election? If you think those protests were bad, that were peaceful protests, and don't believe your lying eyes, this is going to be, Armageddon.
You're not quite old enough to remember 2000, I'm sure, but we went through 6 weeks, and it was that one state regarding specifically one county. What does November the 4th plus look like this year?
I can't imagine, and I'm afraid to think what it looks like. I mean, my fear is really that, people will be unsure, the market will be unsure, people will be protesting. They're going to find ballots. I mean, think about the election in Florida. I believe it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, when Ron DeSantis was elected as governor. I mean, the Secretary of State down there was coming up with that. They found like boxes of ballots and pickup trucks. And, the corruption and the ability to harvest is a very, very dangerous situation.
Mm. All right, moving on to another subject. So we got you for a short period here.
I got to open the gate. Hold on 1 second. We've got, because that'll keep ringing until I open it.
We're in the home of Judge Jeanine, folks.
Because I'm doing Fox tonight. I am so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It's actually kind of cool to see, you're in your home, and because we always see you on the set. So, okay, in the last week, the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, he is the director over there. He declassified information to the effect that the U.S. intelligence agencies obtained insight into Russian intelligence analysis, alleging that U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton had approved a campaign plan to stir up a scandal against the presidential candidate, Donald Trump, by tying him to Putin and the Russians. We know this. You've talked about it on your show. But Ratcliffe also indicated at the time that Brennan, CIA director, he briefed President Obama and others on the intelligence. And this week, today, as we're filming it, he has declassified information, which is really hard to see. Most of it was not redacted, that essentially stated that there were handwritten notes by John Brennan, all saying essentially this is what happened. Okay. We know the hypocrisy with the media, that if the shoe was on the other foot and it was a Democrat, this will be front page headlines. We're not seeing this anywhere in the mainstream media. Does this have legs and impact our election?
When the mainstream media doesn't cover it, only the people who watch Fox will hear about it. And, they are so tired of what went on with the Russia collusion, delusion, that they still think that, the president is a Putin puppet. But, every day, every week, we find out more information that just is further affirmation of what we suspected in the beginning. I mean, I talked about this in my first book, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, and then Radicals Resistance. I said Obama was in on it. In my first book, I said John Brennan is the king of the swamp. He is swamp scum. All right. And everybody would say, no, that's not true. That's not true. The ability or the intent to take down a president of the United States, it's like a third world country. And they said, and when the president came out, when President Trump came out and said they were spying on me and they were wiretapping me, everybody went, oh boy, Trump is crazy. Well, I guess he was right, wasn't he? And then when James Comey was asked, were you spying against the president? He said, I don't even know what spy means. What does that mean? And the lies of the left they make me crazy, which is why I wrote, don't lie to me. Yeah. And stop trying to steal our freedom. Stop trying to steal elections. Stop trying, they're either complicit with the FISA court, or the FISA court was too dumb to know what was going on. But I think because of the emails, and if we put everything together, you see that they're talking about getting a friendly judge under the cover of a dinner party. And they get their warrant, and Carter Page was spied on. He was the vehicle that they used to spy on Donald Trump. It's disgusting. It's a third world country kind of op. It's disgusting. And if we don't see any kind of prosecution, people will lose faith in the system. I will lose faith in the system. I mean, I was a part of the system for 32 years as a prosecutor, a judge, and a DA. I ran for office 5 times for those offices. I have a lot of sweat equity in the truthfulness of the system. And to see what they were doing is repulsive. It's absolutely repulsive.
Okay, so a lot of people are suggesting Durham report or whatever indictments don't come out now before the election because it's too close to the election. What do you think happens after?
Well, I don't know. I wish I could be a fly on the wall in any of those meetings, but, I think Durham has had enough time. I get that this is an investigation that affects people around the world. I totally get that. But I also believe that justice has to be swift and as well as certain. And it's time. It is time that justice be had in this country. And it's not just Comey and Strzok and McCabe and Joe Biden sitting in there with the Logan Act, recommending it in the Oval Office on January 5th. Let's talk about the fact that Joe Biden's son, this man's running for president of the United States. Yeah. His son's going through Europe with a vacuum cleaner, sucking up money from Ukraine, Eastern Europe, $3.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow, 1.5 billion from China, and Joe Biden's brother building houses in Saudi Arabia with government contracts. This is a crime family, and this guy's running for president of the United States, and nobody's asking any questions. They just say, oh, it's been debunked. The same with Hillary Clinton. That 501c3 operating as a charitable foundation was nothing more than an organized criminal enterprise. Enough of this. I get very, very disappointed when I think about what has gone on. And it all started with Jeff Sessions and his refusal to start prosecuting these cases and recusing himself.
In our last minute here, greatly appreciate you taking the time. Tell us a little bit about Don't Lie to Me and Stop Trying to Steal Our Freedom, your latest book.
Well, Don't Lie to Me is the third in the trilogy of Liars, Leakers, Liberals, Radicals, Resistance. And it is literally up to the minute. And, my publisher was pulling the manuscript from me because every day, every 24 hours, Donald Trump is making news. And it's about the pandemic, the lies of the pandemic. I talk about the people who created the models for the pandemic. They were losers. Especially this guy, Neil Ferguson from the UK, who convinced everyone with mad cow disease, kill your cows, kill your sheep, and he was wrong. And then I go into the protest and what the genesis of the protests are, what the purpose is. And there's loads of footnotes. So if you're fighting with a liberal or a leftist, you've got all the facts behind you there. But in the end, I want Americans to understand that they've been lied to. And this Trojan horse with Kamala Harris talking about the Harris administration, Joe Biden talking about the Harris administration, sometimes you need to believe people when they tell you who they are.
Absolutely. Judge Jeanine Pirro, everybody check her out at Fox News with her show and her latest book, Don't Lie to Me and Stop Trying to Steal Our Freedom. Thank you so much, Judge. We'll look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thanks so much. It was great being with you. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.